bars. Been in charge, I am the boss. I'm the best, period, these mental pause. Been a war, send the wolves, I send the corpse and pick what's left like dental floss. My penal gloss, when I record, I recall. Y'all imagine who you are, you need a caption on your bars. You just hatching the facades, I don't need the cliff notes. I'm like Zilla golden fraud, send you to the crypto. I don't scam like Logan Paul. Jesus, don't cross me, you leeches, exhausting. All you do is blah blah yada yada. I'm the Baba Yaga, I'm the saga harder than the Yakuza. You talk a lot of data, you ain't got the heart, you heart.
Whoever sees this and subscribes right now, get free ice cream. No, that's it. No puns this time. Just know you're not getting a cup or a cone, so deal with that. What's going on, YouTube? It's Swirly Knox, and we are back with our reaction series. So today, man, I know, I'm a little late on this, but as you guys know, I did not realize Ren was dropping on the same day that I dropped my Kill Shot remix. But shout out to Ren for inspiring the one take video. Thank you guys so much for the views, for all the love on it. But as you can appreciate, we still have a job to do. I'm still very, very excited to dive back into the world of the homie Ren. This right here, right now, is none other than For Joe. One. Wow. Wow. Look at that shot. I mean, that is beautiful. And I love just the cinematography of this. How we open up and you just see like the cityscape of what I'm guessing is Calgary, right? And you just reveal that night line in the sky as we come down and you hear this beautiful, melodic, haunting piano. And I don't know why when he sat there like with the hood up just playing, like obviously I know the song is For Joe, right? So it's got some of those sad tones and I can only guess it where we're diving into. But I just see like this mad scientist just like cooking up in his lab outside. You know what I mean? It's like Pinky and the Brain. He's about to take over the world, or like some Phantom of the Opera type of ish that Ren is on as he's just like sat there completely in his zone and in his vibe. The mad genius at work. Let's go. How can you do that with your mouth? I mean, I can barely form words with my reactions with my mouth. Like these just melodic tones and just so many different like notes that he just finds, and he doesn't even say words, and yet they just like hit you deep down.
It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch.
Love that line.
Some that's born.
And you guys helped me with the breakdown on that because I talked about the different meanings of double Dutch. And obviously in the States we've got double Dutch with the jump ropes, but also like double Dutch because it sounds like double Dutch because it's nonsense. It's all discombobulated, which has European roots and origins with the Dutch itself. And you guys were saying like English UK slang plays a lot on that double Dutch sequencing and that nonsense, basically, that he's saying. Like Fibonacci sequences, the complexities of life, the intricacies of nature, and how everything just has these mathematical beauty to it all versus like the nonsense and the craziness of the world and like chaos fighting with order within our minds and our lives, man. Anyways, we're getting deep into these breakdowns, but we already broke this down because this is the last verse to Suicide. Interestingly enough, he's flipping this to the first verse. I just dropped my Kill Shot remix today, and I'm just like all over the place in my mind, so let's hope I can stay in front of my words and not stutter so much today. Come on.
Burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside the trunk, inside the pickup truck, then dumped that whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes.
Wow. You know, I just noticed there that's really dope is this sort of aggressive tone and cadence, this attack here.
Hatchet job.
I mean, look at his face. You can see like the strain there. I lock my youth, and the piano's going a little bit more frantic here.
Inside the trunk, inside the pickup truck, then dump that whole thing over that same
Piano's about to switch right here, and he's going to switch his approach and cadence in a second.
bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes,
See?
vividly.
See how the piano kind of smooths out here, and he's like, I think about that sometimes. And he kind of like brings himself back around. Like there was that anger and that angst, and now he's like recomposing himself here. Very dope, like sequencing with sort of the cadence and the tone, and then what's happening with the tempo and the movement of the piano keys.
What it felt like to look down and see tranquility. One sudden movement in a world of possibility. Only one movement to expose our fragility. I fucking miss you, and I miss myself. I miss thinking we were indestructible as hell. I miss chilling by the pier cave and kicking back with Callum, Hugo, Justin Sega,
Oh, that's so dope.
Stevie in the fuck.
Look at that. You can see his laptop right there, and you can see it open. I don't know. Is that Logic? That looks like Logic, because I use Logic. And you can even see the red of the recording sound waves. And you can see the piano coming through as well. So you see the microphone cutting through on his laptop in the piano. You can see that he's recording it right there live. That's dope.
I miss missing that. I numb myself to close the gap. I never even call them up. Distance is my plaster cast to tell the truth. The day you jumped, my childhood jumped too. But I still can't find the angle. All I find is missing you, man. I miss you. With all my rhymes, I picture running 5 minutes quicker, I'm right on time. I picture pulling you back over the edge and then we're crying. And holding you, my brother, and telling you that it's fine. Not the way that it worked. I was late like a jerk. There's not a day where I can find a way to break from the hurt. Your body missing, so we never got to wave to the hearse. I hope you're listening, I love you, man, I miss you, absurd, fuck.
Wow. That's some piano playing. But I tell you what, like those lyrics and those lines, like you could hear that 100 times and you could hear it over and over and it still doesn't lose the impact. I mean, that just like tugs at the heartstrings, and that's what music does. It makes you emotionally connect with it. It just, again, it takes me to a beautiful place of some solace, but also a place of despair and sadness, if that somehow makes sense, with just like the complexities, I think, of this song and the emotions that he goes through and that it imparts upon me. And then, like I talked about, like losing my best friend to cancer, and just like going through those sequences, and just, I've lost a lot of loved ones. I've lost homies over the years, and yeah, it just really kind of floods in, man, and nothing like a scaled back piano. Like that's it. That's all you need is a fucking piano and your voice in this world to really just spit your truths, man.
Another domino, it falls across the way another's born. How you're supposed to raise a child and give it.
Another domino, it falls across the way another's born. So one life is lost where another life begins. Sort of like butterfly effect, chaos theory there as the dominoes collapse. These are new lyrics.
It falls across the way another's born. How you're supposed to raise a child and give it courage from a storm. In a world that is confusing, contradictions pave our flaws. Some will say we're only human, others judge us for our flaws.
Oh man, I love that flip right there, because you know, people will take your flaws and they'll affirm it and say, hey, it's okay to have flaws, it's being human. Whereas on the flip side of it, through the same actions and the same flaws, there's other people who are going to turn around to you and poke holes in you because of those flaws and attack you for those very flaws that some people affirm and accept, and others will chop you down. And that is really a world paved with contradictions. It's beautiful writing.
Domino, it falls across the way another's born.
And see, even like the contradictions here, the dominoes, like one being lifted up, one falling. One life being born, another being lost.
Oh, you're supposed to raise a child and give it courage from a storm. In a world that is confusing, contradictions pave our flaws.
Confusing, flaws, and then he's got a nice another internal scheme, human. Like the way that he enunciated human rhymes with confusing. Love the way he thought about that.
Some will say we're only human, others judge us for our flaws. Some get born in sheets of...
Oh, even that, you see the cadences? Only human, judge us for our flaws. Like, he comes down on the callback notes. I like that.
Some will say we're only human, others judge us for our flaws. Some get born in sheets of satin, some get by in tattered clothes. Some will die before they live, that's just...
Some get by in sheets of satin. Like the S alliteration there, but you think about it, some people start ahead in the race of life. You know, they're born with riches, they're born into wealth. Others are born with tattered clothes, the prince and the pauper, you know. Some are born just barely surviving on that poverty line.
Of satin. Some get by in tattered clothes, some will die before they live. That's just how the story goes. But for those of us still with us, who reside inside our hearts, tell them proudly how you feel. And for those of us who aren't, freckled angels stand strong, freckled angels live on.
That's another like big moment in that pause and that tonal change.
Freckled angels stand strong, freckled angels live on. Freckled angels climb higher, freckled angels still inspire. Freckled angels won't forget you, teach me.
Freckled angels climb higher, freckled angels still inspire. Now, I've not done Freckled Angels. He talked about it in the interview with me, and I know that it's, you know, homage to Joe and some of the history to that. Also, I want to shout out what Ren has done now and the money that he's raised and going back to Wales, and hopefully that trip helped to fulfill him a little bit and help give him some closure on some important things, and it probably reopened some old wounds as well, but I know it was important for him. So I just want to shout him out in the work that he's done for that and taking such a negative and flipping it into a positive to really do some good and make an impact. But anyways, I'm going off track here. I'm getting back to this, like, again, a tonal shift. I almost feel hope here, right? With this piano, it's uplifting all of a sudden, and it's like we are spinning such a negative and having a little bit of a positive now.
Freckled angels stand strong, freckled angels live on. Freckled angels climb higher, freckled angels still inspire. Freckled angels won't forget you, teach me to live my life better. 13 years and still I miss you, now my wings are missing feather. Otherwise I'd come and join you, but for now I'm here on earth.
Otherwise, I'd come and join you. I'd come and join you up in heaven and in the skies, but I'm still imperfect with my wings. Wow, I love the symbolism of that. Just the way that he says that in kind of a more conversational tone there. It's been 13 years since he lost Joe.
Angels won't forget you, teach me to live my life better. 13 years and still I miss you, now my wings are missing feather. Otherwise I'd come and join you, but for now I'm here on earth, stuck inside this mortal body. But for everything it's worth, made me braver, made me wiser, made me stronger, made me true, made me face the world with courage, and that's all because of you.
Wow.
Freckled angels laugh the hardest, and their hearts, they are the largest. With their wings, they fly the farthest. So I know you're gonna be okay. Freckled angels live the longest, and their minds, they are the strongest. Oh, their friends, they are the fondest. So I know you're gonna be okay.
I'm not crying. You're crying. Wow. We went back there. Oh man. I think for me the power of that was in that delivery. You could see it, man, like right there when he's just beating against his chest close to his heart, because that's where our loved ones live on, and that's where they stay with us in here. And the lessons that they teach us and their memories are what we carry on. Oh, he's doing it to me. He's doing it to me. But that is... I think it really shook me there when he cut it all out a cappella, because you could just hear that emotion and that tension in his voice. And he almost lost it. He almost lost himself there, because it meant so fucking much to him. And it was so emotional, that moment. And that is not something you can act. That is not something you can just like produce on the spot. That has to come from deep in here. And that has to come from the soul. And that is just the beautiful, soul-changing music that Ren gives us in another live performance. Just outside, giving us just this experience of emotion and this wave of soul. And I love the new additions to it. I love how we kind of flipped it up. And like I said, like we started with the ending of the previous track, so we still had that feel and similar piano lines, but then we switched it up. And then he added more lyricism to it. And I don't know if he repeated like some old lyrics from Freckled Angels or if that's like new lyrics, but just a way to shout out Freckled Angels. But it really feels like everything is kind of coming around full circle. And it feels like this is a much needed track, not only for those out there suffering, going through it, who have lost loved ones, or even going through darkness themselves, but I think it's a much needed track for him and his closure as well. Ren, you were Knox Hill certified. Hope you guys liked today's video. Listen from here at the end. Obviously, enjoying the content. Do me a huge favor. Support the channel directly. Subscribe, notifications on. It really, really does go a long way. I'm holding it together. I love you guys. I will catch you again